Okay, so AI, right? It's everywhere you turn these days. It's like the hot new thing, the tech trend everyone's buzzing about.
Yeah.
But honestly, it can be kind of overwhelming. Can it? I mean, especially with all these new terms getting thrown around like AI agents.
Yeah.
I bet you've heard that one floating around too, haven't you?
Oh, definitely. It's one of the big ones.
And you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be diving into today, folks. Demystifying these so-called AI agents in a way that hopefully makes sense.
Mm.
You know, clear, engaging, maybe even fun. We want you to walk away from this deep dive feeling like you just had a chat with, say, a really smart friend who broke it all down for you.
Like having that friend who just gets it and can explain it in a way that clicks.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And trust me, by the end of this, you'll not only understand what an AI agent is, but you'll also get why everyone's so excited about their potential to change, well, pretty much everything.
Yeah, it really feels like we're on the cusp of something huge with this technology.
Absolutely. To help us unpack all of this, we've got two excellent YouTube videos as our guides for this deep dive. One from Vendasta, which is a company that builds AI tools for businesses, so they're coming at it from that practical, real-world angle.
Makes sense. They're in the trenches, so to speak.
Exactly. And the other is from AI Alfie, a channel run by Alfie Marsh, who's the co-founder and CEO of Toolflow AI. So we're getting the perspective of someone who's both developing these agents and thinking about the bigger picture, their impact on the future.
Having those two different viewpoints is going to be really helpful in understanding both the what and the why of AI agents.
For sure. All right, let's get down to brass tacks here. What exactly is an AI agent? Now, Vendasta uses a really brilliant analogy, a babysitter analogy, that I thought was just perfect.
I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So they say AI itself is like raw brain power. Think of it as like a genius with a million ideas, but maybe not the best at actually getting things done. You know?
Ah, like the absent-minded professor type.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the AI agent is the practical one, the one who takes those ideas and actually makes them happen by following instructions, kind of like a babysitter,
I
right?
see where they're going with this.
Right. So just as parents would give the babysitter specific instructions like, okay, make sure they eat dinner at 6 and then get them ready for bed by 8, developers train AI agents with data, teaching them how to respond in different situations. But what's really cool is that these agents can go beyond just following pre-programmed rules. They can actually learn and adapt.
That's where the intelligence part really comes into play, right?
Exactly. And that's what AI Alfie really emphasizes. He defines AI agents as software that's designed to perform tasks autonomously, which means they can actually make decisions based on their understanding of the world and how they interact with it, which is a big step up from traditional software that just follows rigid instructions.
So it's the difference between, say, a basic calculator and a sophisticated problem solver.
Perfect analogy. So can you give us a more concrete example of what this autonomy looks like in action?
Sure, so imagine you ask an AI agent to schedule a meeting for you. Now, instead of just opening your calendar app, this agent would actually understand your goal, check everyone's availability, propose suitable times, send out the invites, and even handle those inevitable reschedules when conflicts pop up. It's like having a super efficient personal assistant working behind the scenes.
Okay, that's starting to make a lot more sense. But how do these AI agents differ from those large language models, the LLMs like ChatGPT that everyone's been talking about? Vendasta seems to use the term AI to encompass all of that, the raw processing power, or the brains behind it all.
Right, and that's where understanding the distinction is really important. While AI agents do utilize LLMs like ChatGPT, they're not the same thing. Think of it this way. The LLM is the engine, it provides the power, but the AI agent is the vehicle. It determines the direction and how that power is used.
So the AI agent is like taking that powerful engine and making it actually useful for specific tasks, which brings up an interesting point. What are the limitations of those LLMs on their own then?
Well, one of the key things that Alfie points out is that LLMs are limited by the data they're trained on. It's like they have a knowledge cutoff date.
Interesting.
So, for example, if you asked an LLM about the winner of a recent UFC fight that happened after its last update, it wouldn't know, and it might even try to invent an answer, which is what's known as hallucination.
It's like asking someone who's been living under a rot for a year to explain the latest trends. They might have some ideas, but they won't have the full picture.
Exactly. Now, to be fair, some LLMs are starting to integrate web search capabilities, like ChatGPT partnering with Bing. This allows them to access more up-to-date information,
Okay.
but it's still not true autonomy.
So they're getting a window to the outside world, but they're not quite able to fully interact with it just yet. This makes me wonder about how those AI agents actually work. What's going on behind the scenes to make all of this possible?
Vendasta gives us a helpful way to visualize it. They talk about an interface and a workflow. So the interface is what we see and interact with, whether it's a chat window, a voice assistant, or something else.
Okay.
But behind that interface, there's this complex workflow happening. It's like a dynamic flowchart where the agent is following steps and making decisions based on the situation.
So it's not just blindly following a set of pre-programmed rules. It's constantly adapting and adjusting based on the information it's receiving and the task at hand.
Exactly. And AI Alfie breaks this process down into 4 key steps: input, processing, action, and learning. So first, we give the agent input, which could be a question, a command, or some other form of data. Then the agent processes that input. It thinks about what we've asked and searches for the best way to respond, maybe pulling information from various sources.
So it's like the agent is doing all this mental gymnastics behind the scenes, figuring out the best way to approach the task.
Exactly. Then comes the action phase, where the agent delivers an answer, finds information, or completes the task we've given it. And finally, there's the learning phase, where the agent gets smarter over time by learning from past interactions, refining its processes, and becoming more efficient.
It's like a digital apprentice,
Yeah.
constantly learning and improving its skills. This all sounds incredibly powerful, but I'm sure our listeners are wondering, why should I care about AI agents? What's the big deal? Why is this going to change the world?
Well, I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our deep dive, where we'll explore the potential impact of AI agents, both the incredible opportunities and the potential challenges they present. It's a conversation that's relevant to everyone because this technology is poised to touch every aspect of our lives. It's really fascinating when you think about it. AI agents are not just like some cool new gadget, you know?
Right.
It's like a totally different way of interacting with technology. We're going from giving commands to actually collaborating with these intelligent systems, which has the potential to completely reshape our world.
I know, that's what I find so exciting and also a little bit, unnerving about this whole AI agent thing.
Yeah,
Like, we're standing on the edge of something completely uncharted, filled with possibilities, but also, who knows what could go wrong?
totally. And I think it's our responsibility to look at both sides of that coin.
Exactly.
So let's start with the good stuff. Vendasta really highlights how AI agents could revolutionize the way businesses operate, like handling those everyday tasks, providing better customer service,
Okay.
and freeing up human employees to do more of the strategic and creative work.
So instead of spending hours doing data entry or scheduling appointments, we could have AI agents taking care of all that
Exactly.
and allowing us to focus on the things that require those uniquely human skills like, critical thinking and problem solving.
Yeah, exactly. And for customers, it means faster, more efficient service. Imagine businesses that can answer your questions almost instantly, 24/7, because you have AI agents dealing with inquiries and issues.
It's like having a personal concierge for every aspect of your life.
Right.
But it goes beyond just business, right? AI Alfie talked about how these agents could have specialized knowledge built in, like, company data, market research, stuff that isn't just publicly available.
That's where it gets really interesting, because then they can give us super personalized responses and insights specifically for our needs in the situation.
Okay.
It's like having an expert advisor guiding us and helping us figure out those tricky situations.
This makes me think about healthcare, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine an AI agent that not only reminds you to take your meds,
Yeah.
but also, analyzes how well they're working based on your real-time health data,
Uh-huh.
and then even suggest adjustments to your doctor.
Mm.
It could completely revolutionize how we manage chronic conditions and maybe even prevent diseases.
Absolutely. And you can imagine the potential in education, finance, even government AI agents could personalize learning experiences for students,
Right.
help people manage their money better, and even help policymakers make decisions based on actual data.
It sounds like AI agents could talk about this whole new era of efficiency and personalization,
Yeah.
making our lives easier, healthier, and just more fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with great power comes great responsibility.
Of course.
There have to be potential risks and challenges with something this powerful.
Yeah, it's super important to be aware of those concerns. And one of the biggest ones is making sure AI agents are developed and used responsibly.
Right.
We need to think about potential biases in the data used to train them.
Mm.
We don't want to perpetuate existing inequalities or create new ones.
So it's not just about making AI agents smart. It's about making sure they're ethical and fair.
Precisely. And then there's the whole issue of privacy and security. As AI agents become more intertwined with our lives, they're going to have access to a ton of our personal data.
Yeah.
So we need clear rules and regulations to protect that data and make sure it's not being misused and that people still have control over their own information.
It's like we're inviting these AI agents into our homes and our lives.
Mm.
We need to be able to trust them and know that they're going to respect our boundaries.
Exactly. Then there's the impact on jobs. While AI agents can automate tasks and free up human workers, there's definitely a valid concern about job displacement, especially for jobs that involve routine or repetitive tasks.
So it's not just a technological challenge, it's a societal one as well.
Absolutely. We need to figure out how to prepare people for these changes and make sure everyone benefits from AI's advancements.
Right. It's not just about creating the technology, it's about understanding its ripple effects and shaping its impact on society as a whole.
Yeah, and that requires everyone to work together, technologists, policymakers, educators, and everyday people.
So it's like we're all on this journey together,
Yeah.
and where we end up isn't set in stone. We have to navigate the challenges and steer towards a future where AI agents make our lives better without compromising our values.
Exactly. It's a journey that needs careful thought, open conversations, and a willingness to change and adapt along the way.
Okay, so we've explored the benefits and the challenges of AI agents, but I'm curious to hear your personal take on this technology. Do you feel more excited or more apprehensive about the future?
That's a tough one. Honestly, I think it's a mix of both. I'm incredibly excited about what AI agents could do, solving those really complex problems, making our lives better, and even pushing the limits of what we know and can create as humans. But I'm also very aware of the potential risks and the fact that we need to be really careful with this technology. It's a powerful tool that can be used for good or bad, and it's up to us to make sure we're using it wisely.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
It's not about being blindly optimistic or, doom and gloom. It's about approaching AI with a sense of responsibility and a commitment to shaping its development in a way that benefits all of humanity.
For sure. And that starts with understanding the technology, having those important discussions, and being active participants in creating the future we want.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, from what AI agents are to how they could change the world. But let's bring it back to our listeners. What does all of this mean for them? How can they prepare for this AI-powered future? It really feels like we're standing on the edge of this huge waves, right? And it's not a matter of if it's coming, but how we ride it. So what can our listeners actually do to get ready for this AI-powered world?
Well, I think the first step, and it might sound a little obvious, is just to be aware. Stay curious about AI, read articles, watch videos, even play around with some of the AI tools that are out there already. The more you understand it, the less intimidating it becomes, and the better you can handle the changes that are coming.
So it's like learning a new language. The more you immerse yourself in it, the better you'll grasp it.
Exactly, and that's a good point. Don't just read about AI, actually try using it. There are so many AI tools available now that are free or really affordable, and experimenting with them is the best way to really understand what they can and can't do.
That's like taking a test drive for the future.
Right, yeah. You can get a feel for the possibilities and maybe even discover some things you wouldn't have expected.
Exactly. And as you become more comfortable with these tools, you might start to see how they can be useful in your work, hobbies, just everyday life, really.
Right, and you might even get some ideas for how you can be a part of shaping this future.
Definitely.
We need developers, designers, people thinking about the ethical side of things, policymakers, everyone really. Everyone has a role to play in making sure AI is a force for good. Even just being an informed citizen, asking the right questions, that's a huge contribution.
That's a great point. Listening to all this, it reminds me of that question you asked earlier. If you could design your own AI agent, what would it do? What would your ideal AI partner be like?
That's a fun one to think about. For me, I'm all about knowledge and making connections, so I think I'd design an AI agent that could help me learn even better. Imagine something that could find information tailored to what I'm interested in, connect me with experts I wouldn't normally have access to, and even help me work on projects that I'm passionate about.
So it'd be like a personal research assistant, a networking guru, and a creative partner, all in one.
Exactly. What about you? What would your dream AI agent be like?
That's a good question. I think mine would be all about organization and efficiency. Taking care of all those mundane tasks that take up so much time, scheduling, bills, reminders, but doing it in a way that's so seamless, I almost forget it's even there.
Yeah, freeing up your mental space so you can focus on the things you actually enjoy doing.
Exactly. Which brings us back to that fundamental question. What does it mean to be human in a world where we're increasingly surrounded by intelligent machines?
It's a question we're going to be wrestling with for a long time, I think. But I believe that AI actually has the potential to make us even more human, not less. By taking over those boring tasks, empowering us to learn and be creative, and even helping us connect with each other in new ways.
I like that perspective. Vendasta had a great way of putting it. They said this isn't just a tech upgrade, it's probably the biggest transformation we'll see in our lifetime.
And those who embrace it, those who really understand it and actively participate in shaping it, those are the people who are going to thrive.
Absolutely. So, to all our listeners out there, don't be afraid of the future. Embrace it. Explore those AI tools that are out there. Stay curious. And remember, you have a voice in shaping this incredible journey. We're entering the age of AI agents, and it's going to be an amazing ride.
We hope this deep dive has given you a good understanding of what's happening and how to navigate this exciting new world.
And if you want to learn even more, we've got links to both Vendasta's and AI Alfie's videos in the show notes.
So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep. Until next time.